Yali Ahmad Niamat Saiba.
Subhanallah, Maulani Madad, Subhanallah, Subhanallah. Beautiful zikr by Karim Sahib and Peril Sahiba. Thank you so much for a beautiful start. With the name of Maula, let us start with some zikr and then we'll continue to discuss the Farman. Bismillahir Rahmanir Rahim. Nur Maulana Shah Karimul Husaini Hazrima. Hasbunallah wa ni'mal wakil wa ni'mal mawla wa ni'mal nasir. Hasbunallah wa ni'mal wakil wa ni'mal mawla wa ni'mal nasir. Hasbunallah wa ni'mal wakil wa ni'mal mawla wa ni'mal nasir. Hasbunallah wa ni'mal wakil wa ni'mal mawla wa ni'mal nasir. Hasbunallah wa ni'mal wakil wa ni'mal mawla wa ni'mal nasir. Hasbunallah wa ni'mal wakil wa ni'mal mawla wa ni'mal nasir. Hasbunallah wa ni'mal wakil wa ni'mal mawla wa ni'mal nasir. Ya Mawla Meherban, we seek your help, Mawla. Ya Mawla Meherban, Ya Mushkil Kusha Meherban, Al Hayyul Qayyum. Ya Mawla, please be the light on the tongue of the Nachis, Mawla. Ya Mawla Meherban, be the light in the hearts of the friends, Mawla. Ya Mawla Meherban, help us. Ameen. So today's Farman, we continue, Alhamdulillah. This Farman was so beautiful that we have taken few weeks to cover it. And inshallah, we will be able to finish it today. December 31st, 1893, Munjawni Farman, Imam Aka Sultan Muhammad Shah. Allahumma salli ala Muhammadi wa ali Muhammad. Gave us this beautiful Farman. हाजिर जौमा ने ओरखो बंदगी इबादत करो दीन ऊपर चालो दीन नो रस्तो अमने पूछो अने दीन न हक न रस्ते चालो अमने पूछो तो तमने रस्तो देखाड़ीए जो अमारा पासे नहीं आवो तो तेनो भार अमारा ऊपर नथी. Now in this beautiful farman we noticed that Maula has guided us in this farman that recognition of Imam is very important. But again, Maula is emphasizing that recognize the Hazir Jama. Very beautifully, when we read this Hazir Jama, many a times friends think that today it is Shah Karim who is Hazir Jama. So we have to only read Hazir Imam's farman, he is Hazir Jama. And it would not be incorrect because yes, Shah Karim is the Imam, and according to what we have learned, we would call him permanent Imam, Mustaqar Imam, the one who has the Amr. However, every Imam has the Noor in them. And we are studying this 1893 Farman of Maulana Imam Sultan Muhammad Shah. May our souls be sacrificed to this Imam. When he says, recognize the current manifestation, meaning for us, it was Jama of Imam Sultan Muhammad Shah. It was yesterday. Today is Shah Karim. But when Imam is saying that recognize this Jama, and when we study his Farman, the way when he sits on the Gadi and announces the time of Qiyamah, meaning that there is more to this Jama that even today, we are studying his Farman to understand our tariqah. We are studying his Farami to get the guidance for our spiritual life. So definitely Imam Sultan Muhammad Shah's Jama was very unique, very special and powerful. So we have to look into that also, that when we are reading Maula's Hukum, that Hazir Jama ne Orko, meaning recognize the current manifestation, current Imam, we are expected to understand and recognize at Ilmul Yaqeen level the Jama of Imam Sultan Muhammad Shah and surely the Jama of Shah Karim. And Imam's guidance is that bandagi ibadat karo, that we are expected to continue to do bandagi ibadat. Now, the bandagi ibadat, we have discussed it, many times, but we never know if the friends are new and if they know that ibadat is from the word abd. And if we study Imam Sultan Muhammad Shah's Farman, he gives us actually this name Abdullah, meaning the slave of Lord, right? Slave of Allah, Abdullah. Bandagi is also from Banda, meaning the slave, the moment who has submitted. The root words, the meaning of the both words are same. So Bandagi and Ibadat actually encompasses all, meaning that a moment who submits himself or herself to Imam by following the Farman, realizing that we are slaves and he is our master. And Alhamdulillah, that when we study this concept of slave and master, even if you were to write this, the word guide in the Microsoft Word or online, if you were to type, they would say, don't use this word because this is kind of outdated word and we should not be using it because it has different meaning. And we know the world history, slavery is gone, Alhamdulillah. But this word, the meaning of it, for a moment in Salik is as valid, as true as ever. That we are his slave, we are his murid, we are his farman bardar, meaning that the way Imam Sultan Muhammad Shah says that on your neck there is a belt, meaning that you are in, you have to have the farman of Imam on your neck, as if a belt would be on the dog's neck. He has to obey his master. Similarly, our master is our Imam, and we have to be obedient to our Imam. That is very powerful allegory for us to understand and relate to the word bandagi and ibadat. Many a times we just put this word into a box and relate it to 4 a.m. ibadat, which would be injustice to the understanding of these words, because these words are broader in its sense than just doing the ibadat, meaning Nurani time ibadat. For a moment in Salik, this ibadat bandagi is for 24 hours, meaning to be submitting to the farman of Imam. Deen upar chalo, again, follow the religion. How can one follow the religion if they do not follow the faramins or they don't understand the faramin? The command of Imam, the hukum of Imam is must upon us to understand and follow it. Deen no rasto amne pucho, ane deen na hak na raste chalu. The path of our religion, Mawla says that ask me so I can tell you. And if you do not walk on the deen haq, the true religion, how would you walk if you don't know? So you got to ask me. And there is a saying of Mawla Ali, Saluni la taqtiduni, that ask me questions before I leave, Meaning that every Imam has indicated that we need to ask. Now, if we practically look at Imam is physically far away. How do we ask him? These faramins are one way for us to realize that he's communicating, conversing with us to guide us. And very interestingly, somebody shared some social media thing, that we have now a chip. Elon Musk has invented a chip to be put into the brain, and people with the power of their mind, they will be typing without using their fingers. They'll be typing or communicating to their devices, calling people, talking to people through the power of mind. No need of words or hands needed. Meaning, in other words, telepathy. And it is so beautiful that when we study the books of our Buzurgwarideen, we realize that telepathy has been here. But Today, science is discovering this power of telepathy. And the point I'm getting to is that we undermine our abilities, our potentials. And if we were to read Book of Healing, it is very clearly mentioned that Mu'minin of the time of Qiyamah will be capable of communicating to the Imam or among themselves through the power of mind, through telepathy. We have always heard that, Imam is always present with us, Imam is always with us, and Imam guides us. But to some extent, we have not really realized that how would he guide us in our batin, because we think of him as not present. And we continue to forget that he is present. So different levels, different understanding. When we realize and see these worldly inventions being there and helping us to converse or communicate or do the things without the use of words or hands or anything, meaning through the power of mind. If scientists, worldly scientists, are discovering this fact, imagine our soul, which already has this knowledge. And Imam says, Deen no rasto humne pucho, ane deen na haq na raste chalo. Those mu'mineen who do have ilmul yaqeen, knowledge of certainty, when they do have that and they are pious, they are the ones who do ibadat or bandagi, the way we discussed, they have no difficulty to be communicating to Imam within their being, to be asking him questions and he giving them guidance. It all is possible within the batin of Mu'min Salik, within the personal world of Mu'min Salik. And we see this actually. We see this very clearly in the Ginans of our peers, right? That when we read their Ginans, they were talking to people, let's say Pir Sadruddin, they were in the different world, continent, and they were unaware or not knowledgeable of their languages, their concepts. But how beautifully they compose these rhythmic ginans, because those people who were there at that time, they were used to this singing and learning knowledge through ginans. And Pir is talking to them about their concepts, connecting it to the Islam, the religion, and helping them to understand, to continue to walk on the path of truth. Very beautifully, how did they do that? When we study about Pir Nasir Khusro, who just met Imam once, but he wrote books after books, sitting in a cave. How did he do that? In today's time, we see Allama Sahib, who has written so many books, and the words or the language or the ta'wil, which we never see before him. So all these miracles are happening right in front of us to make us understand that there is a power within us. There is a power within us spiritually, which the world is discovering today physically with the physical science. But there is a spiritual science as well. But if we were to understand that, then only we will be asking Imam to guide us, to take us to the right path. And there is a right path. And when we don't, we are not able to distinguish right from wrong, we seek Imam's mercy to be able to be guided on the right path, make the right choices. Then Imam guides us, Ame pucho to tame rasto dekhani. If you were to ask me, then I would show you the path. जो हमारा पासे नहीं आवो तो तेनो भार हमारा ऊपर नहीं. If someone does not go to Imam, does not ask Imam, Imam says, then I am not responsible. I am not accountable. Imam being Imam, can you imagine that he says that it is not on me? How mercifully he's guiding us, he's teaching us, and then telling us that you yourself can make a choice to let me go. You yourself make a choice to let me go. Why would somebody do that? Especially we are talking about, Ismaili Jama'at. We are sitting as Ismaili, Jama'at, and we are studying Imam's Farman. Why someone would do that they will let go of the Farman of Imam or guidance from the Imam? And it happens because when we use our partial intellect, when we do that, we say we know more, and we make choices. And that leads us to reflect that why Imam again and again would talk about same things. And yes, last class also we were saying that some of the things which we talked about in this Farman, we had already discussed about in other Farmans. Imam keeps repeating it because there are, some of us who do not reflect. When we don't reflect and we don't understand the knowledge the way we ought to understand it, we miss out the essence. And Imam continues to guide that ask me, meaning that we have to reach out to Imam. We have to seek his protection and seek that we are walking on the right path. And he surely will guide us within our being on how to walk on the right path and let go of the ego, let go of the carnal soul, because it is those who use their partial intellect, meaning they're following their ego because they think they are right. And when we do that, meaning that we don't realize how we are not in recognition of Imam. And Imam says that if you were to choose that, then it is not on me. It is your choice. You're doing it. And that's it. Imam is free now. The oath of allegiance, which we made with Imam, it was dependent on us asking his protection, his guidance, and we said we will be obedient, we will be Farman Bardar. If we don't do that, then that relationship is cut off. Now the question is that how many of us realize that we ourselves cut off that relation, thinking that we are in allegiance of Imam, but we are not, because Imam says it very clearly that it is not on me. તેની મિસાલ એવી છે કે કોઈ ફકીર હોય અને માંગવા ના જાય તો તેને તેની મિસાલ એવી છે કે કોઈ ફકીર હોય અને માંગવાને જાય તો તેને મળે. માંગવાને જાય તો તેને મળે. Again, Imam is, helping us, guiding us by giving examples. And this example is of a poor beggar. And Imam says that if this beggar, who is poor, his fakir, if he does not go out to seek help, how is he going to receive help? અગર ઘરે બેઠો રહે તો ભૂખે મરી જાય, તેમાં ગામના બીજા માણસોની શું તકસીર? If this beggar, who doesn't have any resources, any food, if he chooses to sit at home, he does not go out asking for help, then it is not fault of his neighbors or community. It is not the fault of his neighbors and community because he did not choose to go out and ask for help. માંગે નહીં તો કોઈ આપે નહીં, તેમાં બીજાઓનો શું વાંક? જે માંગવા જાય નહીં તેને મળે નહીં. Very clearly, Imam is teaching us a principle that if you don't ask for help, how are you going to get help? If you don't ask, you won't get. Simple as that, right? So here, the physical example of a beggar is actually about us, who are Imam's murid. If we don't have knowledge and we have to seek knowledge, if we don't ask questions, we don't learn, we will not get it. We will not get it. We might use our own partial intellect thinking and rationalize our own actions and think we are on the right path. But Imam says that we got to ask, we got to seek help, meaning from Imam's Faramin, Quran Sharif, Ginans of our Pir, seek knowledge. And there has to be very strong aspect of personal intellectual search. When we don't do that, we expect Imam to give it to us. We expect others to teach us, to guide us. To some extent, yes, in Maula's mercy that we are in a situation where, one is teaching, others are learning. But again, that does not fulfill the responsibilities of learner. It is incumbent upon those who learn to do their own personal search. It is easy to, again, listen to one lecture, another lecture, and do that. But that limits using of our own intellect. The intellect is sharpened when we read ourselves. We read Faramins, we reflect, and we seek Imam's mercy. that Mullah, guide me, help me understand it. And he says, I am here, I will help you. If you don't do that, then you will not get it. So if we are not picking up Farameens, Ginans, Quran, the books of our Buzurgwari Deen to learn and read and reflect, how are we going to get it? દીનના રસ્તા વિશે તમે અમને પૂછશો નહીં તો રસ્તો ભૂલી જશો અને જહન્નમમાં જશો. તેનો ભાર અમારા માથે નથી. તમે ઘરે બેઠા રહેશો અને અમને નહીં પૂછો તો અમારા ઉપર કાંઈ નથી. Again, Imam is emphasizing that on the path of religion, if you don't ask Imam, then you will forget the path and you will end up in Jahannam. Imam's words are, to rasto bhuli jasho ane Jahannama jasho. If we will not ask, we will forget the path. We will forget the path. I hope that we know that we have this disease as humans, in human bodies. We have this disease of forgetfulness. At the level of the soul, we all, submitted to Imam, and we said, yes, indeed, you are our Lord. Chapter 7, verse 172. Alastu bi rabbikum kalu bala. Lord asks, am I not your Lord? And everybody says, indeed, you are our Lord. So it's not that we did not know at the level of the soul, we knew. But what happens when physically we are in this world, we follow the illusion and we get tempted and attracted to the world and we forget. So it is very important to come out of that, illusionary sleep and be awake and alert and find out the truth. Imam says that if you don't ask, you will forget and end up in hell. Very interestingly, Imam says that you will end up in hell. Teno bhar amara upar nathi. And I'm not responsible for that because you made that choice. તમે ઘરે બેઠા રહેશો અને અમને નહીં પૂછો તો અમારા ઉપર કાંઈ નથી. If you sit at home, you don't ask, then of course I am not responsible. Again, we see this whole paragraph is repetition. He consistently repeats and repeats and repeats because we tend to forget. So he has to repeat to guide us. Some may get frustrated that why Imam is repeating so much. Let's go to the next level. Let's go to the next level. And yes, it will be very interesting, captivating if we continue to go further. But the thing is that when Imam is talking to the whole general Jama'at, Imam knows that there are different ages, there are different levels of education, there are different levels of understanding, and there are different levels of seeking as well. So Imam, being the merciful Imam, continues to repeat by seeing the souls in front. So those who have understood, they, when they hear or read the repetition, they need to be in gratitude that they understand and they continue to seek the protection. They continue to seek Imam's mercy. But then there are those who still are struggling. It's a reminder for them. And probably we can help them to see the path, to help them with their questions. So Imam again is emphasizing that if you make your own choices, you don't ask for help, then you will forget and you will end up in hell. Now hell and heaven, it's a concept, right? Dozakh and Jannat. And Imam Sultan Muhammad Shah in his Farman talks about that Jahannam we all understand, which is away from Imam. It is in the fire, constant pain, turmoil, regret, because we are away from Imam. But then those who are with Imam, those who are in paradise, we have to understand, because we have to have a complete kind of picture to be able to relate, that it is not as black and white as it appears, that if you are ignorant, you did not follow the farmans of Imam, the way we understood that we are all in allegiance, but when we become na-farman bardar, we take that step of breaking this allegiance. Meaning we are responsible for ourselves, we are adults and we are accountable, and we have responsibility towards our actions. So Jahannam is very clear. But when we talk of paradise, Imam also mentions that the paradise, which is at the first level, it's like a stable of horses, meaning that if someone seeks paradise for worldly desires, fulfillment of the worldly desires, of having this and having that, all the physical things, because when we read Quran, it is full of allegories, and the examples which are given has ta'wil. And people, those who read Quran literally, only the tanzeel, they don't understand the ta'wil. So what do they seek? They seek the worldly pleasures, worldly things. When they seek that, then Imam is teaching us in the Farman that paradise is also like a stable of horses. You're fed good and you are kept, cleaned or, taken care of. But it is also a cage. A moment's desire is to fly, to come out of the body and to fly high. In reality, what we are learning that we are currently in paradise. It is all Imam's mercy that due to his farameen, his guidance, we have come so far away from, generational struggle due to money or education, migration and whatnot. So many things has happened in our generations, our parents and grandparents, today that we have very comfortable, peaceful life. Why? Because of the farameens of Imam, because of the guidance of Imam. So in other words, we are in paradise. Now, within this comfortable, safe, secure, beautiful life, do we stay connected to this illusionary world, all the desires of the world, and we continue to pray to Imam Mola Mushkil Asan for this difficulty or that difficulty, or give me this, give me that? All that is actually limiting us to stay at the level of first paradise. Because everything has darjat. Everything has darjat. And the way Allama Sahib has explained in one of the examples, that think of a building of 100-story building. On the first floor, people will say they are in the building. On the 100th floor, people will say they are in building. But there is a difference. There is a very clear-cut difference. So 100th floor meaning being with Imam. First floor, yes, with Imam, but actually very far from Imam. But still paradise. So again, what we are saying, with the knowledge, we realize that there are darajat in everything. And it is this knowledge which is gradually attained, physically, spiritually, intellectually, to enlighten our being, to follow the farameens of Imam with complete understanding and absolute Farman Bardari with complete conviction. Then Imam continues to guide and says, Nabi Sahibe Dunyaમાંથી જતી વખતે વસીહત કરી હતી કે હું દુનિયામાં બે ચીજ મૂકી જાઉં છું, જેમાં એક કિતાબ અને બીજી મારી આલ. Hadith Saklan. Very powerful hadith. Imam Shah Karim gave us this hadith Saklan to recite in Golden Jubilee time, reminding us of this hadith. Why aren't we not with Imam? So one way of understanding that, we have to realize that Hadith Saklan first mentions the kitab. First it says the book, which is Quran. Second is the al. Many times when we listen to this hadith or explanation, we think of al and then kitab. We have al, we are with Imam, we are with progeny. Book is not important. But if you carefully study the Hadith Saklan, it mentions the book first and the al. Why would that be? Now, there are very many explanations, and we can understand, but, briefly keeping it simple and understand that it is the book, it is the talim, it is the ta'wil in the Quran, which will help us to recognize the al. Al, Imam's progeny, Imam's family, it is the chain of the light of Imamat, which is continuous. So how are we going to recognize this chain of the light of Imamat if we don't have the knowledge? So knowledge is so important. First is the book and second is the progeny. And Imam Hazrat Imam in Golden Jubilee made us listen to this hadith for 18 months in USA. For a year we did that everywhere, right? Why would Imam choose this hadith and not any other hadith? He was compassionately teaching us that our Prophet, who was the Natik, His Janasheen was Maula Ali. But in order to recognize Maula Ali, we need the Talim of the Quran. Which Talim? Talim of Imam, meaning the Tawil, which is given in the books of our Buzurgwari. When we understand the Tawil of the Tanzil, then we will recognize the Imam. Many a times we think all is with us, we are okay, we don't need to learn. There are many who will say we don't need to learn and we do not need the Quran. And again, other justification we give is the silent book and the speaking book. When we have the speaking book, why do we need the silent book? We need the silent book because everything starts physically. Physical being is the door to our soul, our batin, our spirituality. So we need things physically to believe, to understand, to learn, to be able to go to the next step. So the first is kitab. If we do not realize the importance of the knowledge, we will never get where Imam wants us to get there. Now, kitab, if I may, the way we studied earlier, that we forget. So it is not again only limiting to Quran, Farman, and Ginan, reading it. No, it's not only reading, but actually reflecting and reminding ourselves, studying the meaning of it, not just by listening, but by picking up these books by our own self and studying it. Even if it is difficult, we have to do that because we did that for the worldly progress. So why we, took that much time and attention to the learning of the worldly books? Since our young age, we were taught by our parents that studies are very important. If you want to be successful in the physical world, in this life, you have to study. They didn't teach us that there's a spiritual knowledge as well. We were sent to REC or night school or mission classes. Some did not get that opportunity even because of whatever reasons, right? But what I'm saying is that the reason we had the physical education was to study these books. Why we think that worldly education was needed and okay, and we can do what we did, whatever we did, it doesn't matter how, good or poor quality was, but we did it. Similarly, we are expected to pick up all these books and study it. Some may have great difficulty, but just because of their action of despite it is so difficult, when they study, when they go into Quran or Ginan and Farman, Maula's mercy comes to them in a multiplied quantity, and they are blessed. So never underestimate the power of personal search, studying your own self and learning that I have to really understand what I'm reading. So never underestimate that. So Hadith Saklan, very, very powerful, very, very important Hadith. It is interesting. We can say that Imam could have asked us to study that Hadith, which says that those who die without the recognition of Imam will die the death of ignorant. That would be like shock for us. And we would be asking that, what does it mean? But this is mercy of Imam, that he does not scare us as per se. Many a times people think that Imam Sultan Muhammad Shah's farmans are scary, but I totally disagree. We are somebody who take things for granted so much that we do need some level of shocks. But can you imagine Hazi Imam not giving that hadith? Or the hadith, let's say, which says that there are two groups in people. One is teachers, others are students, and remaining are all enemies. What? Can we imagine that? So we have to really reflect why Imam would give us this hadith. And now when we are in the knowledge journey and we study different hadiths, and we see that they are so clearly telling us to recognize the Imam. But Imam mercifully guided us step by step, that those who are sleeping, "Uth jaag man mera tu kahe ko sota hai," that they would wake up and reflect that why Imam is saying that we have to study Hadith Saklan and realize the in-depth meaning of it. Meaning, we being smiley, we think we are with Imam, but the way Imam said, that those who don't ask, that those who don't go out, it is not on me. I'm not responsible. So if we are those who do not have the recognition and we are not seeking the recognition, it is not on Imam. If we don't know, if we are hungry, if we are thirsty, it is our responsibility to ask, our responsibility to pick up the books and find the truth. બાદ મૌલાના હાજી ઇમામે તે વિશે ફરમાવ્યું, તે કિતાબ લઈને મુર્તઝા અલી મસ્જિદમાં ગયા અને સર્વે લોકોને ફરમાવ્યું, આ કિતાબ મને રસૂલુલ્લાહે આપી છે, તેમ તમારી પાસે લઈ આવવા વસિયત કરી હતી, માટે તમે લ્યો. Now again, this is his lesson from history, and we don't have that much time, but I'm sure we all know that Abu Bakr, who became the first Khalifa, and then his relative Umar, and then his relative Usman, they kept it in the family, Khilafat, after Payghambar, despite the hukum of Prophet of Maula Ali being the Janashi. And when Usman is compiling the Quran, Maula Ali did go to him, taking, the verses or chapters which he had. And he said that Prophet had asked me to give it to you. So what did they say? ત્યારે સર્વે લોકો બોલ્યા કે અમારા પાસે હઝરત ઉસ્માનની કિતાબ છે તે બસ છે, તમારી કિતાબને અમને જરૂર નથી. Can you imagine that Imam is told that we have the book of Usman and that is enough for us. We do not need your book. Need Imam's book? Ignorant are in hell. So we see clearly how people have stuck to the physical book, become Hafiz al-Quran, but never got the essence. And this Farman again becomes a challenge for those who are new here probably, or they have not understood what it means, that we see this Farman. Imam, let's read this and then we can continue. ત્યારે મુર્તઝા અલીએ ફરમાવ્યું કે આ કિતાબની તમને રત્તી જેટલી પણ કિયામતના દિવસ સુધી ખબર નહીં પડે. એમ કહી કિતાબ પોતાના ઘરે પાછા લઈ ગયા. તે કિતાબ પારા 10 છે. તેના માટે પીર સદરદીને તમને જ્ઞાનમાં સમજાવેલ છે, તે પ્રમાણે ચાલો. Now these 10 sections, because Quran is currently divided into 30 sections, and all compiled together 30 sections has 114 verses in the Quran. Maula Ali had 10 more sections with him, but what people did, that we don't need your book, we have Usman's book and that is enough for us. Again, they use their partial intellect. Imam himself has gone there and telling them that Prophet's hidayat was that I should give you this book. And they said, no, we don't need it. We don't need it. What do we think had happened to their minds that they were doing that? Power, greed. In the worldly status wise, they became the leader of the Ummah. After Prophet, the whole Ummah looked for guidance. And when Abu Bakr deceivingly, with deception in his heart, became the leader, he did not give the true haqq of Maula Ali. And after him, Umar became the Khalifa and then Usman. And the whole Muslim Ummah at that time was going through chaos. There was conflicts and battles and fights and disagreement and issues after issues. The nation who was very organized, people used to fear them, that they are one Jama'at. They are one in their heart under the umbrella of Prophet Muhammad, his guidance. And Prophet Muhammad made sure that he has guided people about the Janashini of Maula Ali. There are very many hadiths, if you were to read, they do talk about Maula Ali. Those who have not read the book, Hazrat Ali, I would say that you need to ask the admins to share that book with you, so you can benefit about learning about Maula Ali. Maula Ali, despite all what was going on, all the conflicts, not getting the rightful haqq, which it was his, at Ghadir Khum, when it was announced that Maula Ali is master of those whose Maula is Prophet Muhammad. But what had happened? When Maula Ali was taking care of Prophet Muhammad, who was on deathbed, Abu Bakr plotted and planned with Aisha, and they procured a election and announced his khilafat, his leadership. And people who were naive, they looked at Abu Bakr and they accepted him because he was the companion present in every battle with Prophet Muhammad, his supporter, his friend. So they accepted. But just, few hours ago or a day ago, the announcement of Maula Ali being the Janashin of Prophet Muhammad was kind of forgotten. Can you imagine that fast people can forget? When the deception overpowers, the power of Shaitan is overpowering, and those who do not ask, they will be deceived. Those who do not do personal search, they will be deceived. And we see that they do not have the knowledge of those 10 separa, 10 sections. And P. Sadaddin has also mentioned in the Ginans that the Ginans are those 10 sections, meaning the guidance of our peers, guidance of our Buzurgwar Deen are those 10 sections. How are we saying that? The way we have understood, just a few minutes ago, when we were discussing about our peers, that how were they guided in their batin? Our peers who are nominated by Imam, and their books are there, our Dais and Buzurgwar Deen, their books are here for us to study. How did they write these books? Because Imam was guiding them in their batin. Imam Ali, Maula Ali being the Asas Imam, it is a very important rank other than Mustaqar Imam, which is permanent Imam, the one who has the Amr. But Maula Ali is Asas Imam, meaning he is responsible for Ta'wil of the Tanzil. And that function, that responsibility continues to go on in the chain of the Light of Imamat, meaning Shah Kareem. These Ta'wili knowledge, Imam mercifully has designated, let's say Pir Sadaddin, we took the example of Pir Nasir Khosrow. All these exalted personalities, they were guided in their batin by Imam to guide Jama'at, those who were asking, those who were seeking. So we being Ismailis, we are not at loss. We become at loss when we think that if our peers were guided and they gave us the Ginan, then when we study the Ginan, it suffices. But then there are only 10 sections. How about the 30 more sections? Meaning, in other words, we have to realize that we have to study Quran as well, Ginan as well, Hadith as well, and the books of our Buzurgwar Deen. We cannot let go of any knowledge. The way in the physical world, when we go to school, it's just about ABC, whatever language, ka, kha, ga, or alif, be, pe, whatever it is. It's just the alphabets or numbers 1, 2, 3. But that is not the essence. The essence comes really later on. But very interestingly, the way we continue to climb up the ladder, we have different subjects: science, geography, algebra, or different subjects. All these different subjects, different books, different courses are giving us this label of being educated. Why was it not enough for me to just learn the alphabets and know my ABC or read the sentence or write the essay? How can I even write the essay, for example, if I don't even know geography? I don't even know politics or civics. Take any example. We need all those knowledge for us to be articulating our thought to whoever we are talking, right? And of course, then we see that when we talk about PhD levels, people specialize in one tiny thing, one tiny aspect of that education, which was so broad. Meaning education is like an ocean. For us also, when we study Ginans, and we are comfortable because we understand it, right? For some, it is Farman of Imam Sultan Muhammad Shah only, not Haji Imam's Faramin. And for some, it is Haji Imam's Faramins, not his speeches. Quran? No, we have 10 sections, we don't need to study Quran. Why would Hadith-e-Saklan be given to us in Golden Jubilee? 1893, Imam Sultan Muhammad Shah reminding us about Hadith-e-Saklan. 1400 years ago, this hadith was given to us by Maula Ali, quoting Prophet Muhammad, that he left for us book and Prophet Muhammad leaving for us the book and the progeny. We don't have to study that. That was 1400 years ago. But we are consistently being reminded about it because there is an importance to it. Meaning we are able to conclude here that we are the blessed ones who have all the 40 sections. Meaning we will study the Quran, and it's of course in Tanzili form, so we won't understand. So we will have to do personal search to seek the ta'wil of the Quran. But at the same time, we study Faramins, we study Ginans, we study Hadith, and the books of our Buzurgwari-e-Deen. Just like we had so many courses to become somebody in the worldly sense that, oh, I am, let's say, somebody says accountant, or somebody says, health professionals, because they took one aspect and became, expert in it. And then we can take the direction, but we have to have the basis of all this knowledge. We cannot choose and select when we are beginners. When we study in the beginning, we have to study everything. Why it is so important? So we can distinguish that when Maula Ali says that Maula Ali was told by people that we don't need your book, we have Book of Isman. It is the same book which Ismaili study as Quran, and it is the same book which Sunni study. But the way Ismaili study with the light of Imam, the Quran is every verse is about Imam. Every verse is about Imam. Directly or indirectly, the whole Quran is actually about Imam. We have to reflect when we read Quran, either there are praises of those who are with Prophet, or there are those who were enemy of Prophet. Directly or indirectly, it is teaching us how to be with Imam, how to be Farman Bardar of Imam, protect ourselves from the figures of the history, the teachings which are given in the Quran, in the form of a story, but requiring us to learn the ta'wil to protect us in today's time, to be able to walk on the right path. Remember, Imam taught us that if we will not ask, if we will continue to sit at home, nobody is going to come and feed us. It is our responsibility to go out and ask. And when ask is, understood, it is not limited to only listening to lectures. It is extremely important for us to pick up the books of Ginans, Farmans, Quran, Tawil-i-Ilm, and study for ourselves. Even if it is 1 page per day, it is a beginning. So here I would like to stop. When we can continue to go on, and there is so much of it. In fact, I remember a lecture by Nachis that Quran is for Smileys. So those who still like to know more, there are other lectures they can ask the admins of the group to help them to share those lectures which are taking one aspect and going into details of it. Shukran lillah, walhamdulillah, shukran lillah, walhamdulillah.
Oh, subhanallah, subhanallah, subhanallah. Wonderful session again, Niamat Saiba. It's amazing how Maulana Sultan Muhammad Shah gave us so much ta'wil and understanding, which we are still trying to understand as such. I was quite moved by the first sentence that we started with today, where Maulana Sultan Muhammad Shah tells us basically the whole philosophy of our religion, which is recognize the Imam, perform bandagi, walk on the teachings of our din, and so on. So in fact, that one sentence encompasses everything that we need to do as an Ismaili. Also, he reminded us about action. Action is required. And the example he gave us was about seeking help in terms of knowledge. But I think action means action in everything. So it's not only just getting knowledge, but action of everything rather than just thinking about it. Yeah. And then you highlighted the importance of Hadith Saklain. Yeah. And the fact that Maulana Sultan Muhammad Shah mentioned it then. And we have Hazar Imam reminding us again during the Golden Jubilee. Yeah. And lastly, the fact that the Muslim community at the time refused the complete Quran from Hazrat Ali, saying that they were happy with what they had. And based on that, the decision of the leaders at the time, the whole Muslim community has suffered. And that is amazing. Yeah, it's a decision by a few people can actually damage the whole community. I think I've covered everything that I wanted to.
You
I don't know if
have.
I missed
You
anything.
have. No, you did beautiful job. Very beautiful, subhanAllah. But the last point, the way you said that how few can mislead the whole nation. But nation is not without the intellect. They have their own intellect, right? And we see historically that there was one group, because the Islam Ummah was in chaos at that time. Very organized, very powerful nation became so chaotic. There were conflicts and groups and divisions and divisions and divisions were happening. And interestingly, we see the group who became Sufi. And even today, we have Sufis. And they kind of, separated. In the beginning, they did call Maula Ali to teach them the path. But then later on, they forgot even, Maula Ali's teaching. They did not seek the recognition of Imam. Until today, we see that the Sufi group, is very popular even in Western world. Maulana Room is very popular. And we have to realize that Sufis, at that time, they said, we don't want Mawia and his politics or power, and we don't want, Maula Ali's guidance of, being with Imam, because it was hard to be with Imam, because Muslims were persecuted. Imam was persecuted. So it was easier to either be with, the group which was powerful, majority kind of, and be protected physically, run away from the tests of walking on the path of the truth, or being saying that I'm not here, I'm not there, I'll find my own path. There is no path without Imam. There is no path without Imam. And then we continue to see that how Muslim Ummah continues to have branches after branches after branches. The main branches are Shia and Sunni, but both, has different sections within it. It is only Ismailis who are with the Hazir or Mawjud, Barhaq Imam, present true Imam, Shah Karim, Allahumma salli ala Muhammadin wa alihi. We are truly blessed to have Shah Karim with us. But imagine that the way you said, that decision of few. If it is a decision of few, where is our own intellect? Okay, in the beginning, one is misled, we don't know. But Imam also said, ask me. And asking is not only physical, I hope we have understood. It is through seeking knowledge and asking the truth, seeking the truth. And we look at Pir Nasir Khusro, who was born a Sunni Muslim, studied Quran, Bible, read all the tafasir of Quran. But he was not happy. He was seeking. He knew that something was not right. And his point where he was stuck, which he would ask all these scholars and mullahs, that why? What is my fault that I do not have the hand of Prophet Muhammad to take bayah? What did I do wrong? Where is my fault that I don't have that hand? And only this question took him to the Imam, and he found the hand, and he did das bosi, and that is it. He became immediately a peer. He was such a sincere seeker. already had taqwa, but he had knowledge as well. So remember, the word ibadat or bandagi is so encompassing that we have to have knowledge as well. If we don't have knowledge and we don't know how to ask or seek or not seeking, we may think we are on the path. We have the knowledge, but we are not doing the way you said action. We are not taking that action. So that is very important to realize, that we have to take responsibility of our action. It is very easy to say that I blame those leaders who made that decision. Nobody held my hand or my mind or my tongue. What did I do for me? So it's not good in the sense that we blame, leaders, which continues to happen. We continue to see that. So yes, history teaches us that how few can mislead. In today's time, are we becoming responsible for ourselves so we are not misled by those who are sitting in the position to guide or to lead? Are we using our intellect? Are we trying to build that connection with Imam to be guided in our batin? That is what is also very important to realize. So thank you, Karim. In your summary commentary, I was able to hear that point. So thank you for giving this opportunity.
Thank you, Niamat Saiba, for clarifying as well. Friends, if you have any questions or comments, please come forward.
Sure, friends are reflecting. If anybody has any comment, then we'll take it and we'll call it a day.
If there are no questions or comments, then okay. Somebody just asked a question. What was the name of the book about Hazrat Ali? I have posted the link in the chat, so you can download the book. It's just called Hazrat Ali by Rashida Saib Hunzai.
It's a beautiful book, actually. And we do have some lectures on it as well. Not the complete, but we do have some lectures. So if you are reading and you want to listen to its explanation, that is there as well. Farida, you can ask. Or Faiza, whoever it is. So did you like the session? If nothing else, tell me. Did it help you? Any comment? I would like to hear somebody's voice.
Yes, it was beautiful. It was very nice. Thank you. Thank you, Niamat Saiba.
Thank you for speaking up. Thank you.
Yeah,
Yes,
this is
Well,
so Samina, and yes, it's always nice to have validation. So a lot of things that you have said, we've listened and heard from all different other people, or through reading in Jama'at Khanas, and it's always there, but it's nice when you kind of reinforce it again and kind of bring it into this very nice way. So I'm really grateful, and they're a wonderful session. So thank you very much.
Thank you, Amina. Thank you for coming up and sharing this and encouraging. I truly appreciate that. When it becomes very quiet, then I don't know. So thank you, Amina. I truly appreciate you.
याली मदद नेमत साहिबा राबिया
हमारी मदद राबिया माँ.
हाँ बहुत it's very nice and very knowledgeable, and it hammers our mind to be within the time we have to be update ourselves and be practical in it, and really it motivates when we see the sessions and we understand everything, which is your lectures are all very understandable.
Shukran. Thank you, ma. Thank you so much.
And मौला तुम्हारी सेवा कबूल करे, दीन दुनिया में सुखी सलामत आबाद रखे, फैमिली और आल औलाद की सलामती के साथ.
Ameen. Ameen.
Any other comments or questions, friends, before we close the session? I think that is it, Niamat Saiba. Thank you once again for a lovely session.
I would like to invite us, Karim. I have another session today, so hopefully friends will join.
Yes.
What is
What is soul? Niamat Saiba will be giving a presentation on what is soul in 3 hours, 4 hours.
Yeah. And
Yeah.
it's so interesting, Karim. The reason I remember it very well, because we are going to repeat few of the things which we have discussed in Farman. So that session is not Farman session, it's a book study. But you would be shocked that how all, these points are, being taught to us in a different ways, different terms, and it enriches our intellect. It makes us, inquire more. The way Imam says that we have to inquire, do personal search. So it'll be an amazing for us to listen and, complement what we have already learned, and much more than that. Inshallah, with your
Ji.
prayers.
The link to the session is in our WhatsApp group. So if you don't have that link, then please refer to the WhatsApp group. Thank you, Niamat Saiba, once again for a lovely session.
Thank you.
And inshallah, we'll meet you again in three hours' time. Thank
Thank
you, and Yali Madad.
Yali Madad, Yali Madad.
oh, okay.
Yali
Yali
Madad,
Madad Niamat Saiba.
Yali Madad, ma, Yali Madad.